Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really specific piece of gear. It's the Bluefish444 HDMI120 Synapse converter. Sounds technical, but it solves some big problems.
Yeah, and our mission today isn't just to, read off features. We want to really get into why this specific box, the HDMI 120, shows up in places where things absolutely cannot fail.
Yeah.
Like broadcast.
Right.
We're going beyond just HDMI in, SDI out. We want to look at the processing inside and especially those redundancy features. That's the crucial part.
Okay, so baseline. It takes an HDMI signal, like from a camera or laptop, and converts it to SDI, which is, the standard in professional video.
Exactly. HDSDI or SDSDI.
Yeah.
But that's just the start, isn't it? Because real-world signals are messy, different formats, different frame rates. And that's where the internal smarts come in. This isn't just a passive adapter. It's actively processing the signal. We're talking about things like video downscaling and also progressive to PSF processing. These are things you need to make sure a modern signal plays nice with maybe older or more specialized gear down the line.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. PSF processing.
Yeah.
What's that doing for you exactly? Why is that important?
Right. PSF stands for Progressive Segmented Frame. So imagine you've got a true progressive signal, like 1080p at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Some broadcast gear, it expects an interlaced signal, like 1080i. PSF cleverly packages that 1080p signal inside an interlaced container. So the gear downstream thinks it's getting interlaced, but you preserve the full progressive frame.
Ah, okay. So it's like a compatibility trip.
Exactly. This box can take, say, 1080p 60 and output a clean 1080i 30 feed. Super useful. And the downscaling, too, taking 1080p 60 or 50 and outputting a nice, clean 720p 60 or 50.
That makes sense. You often have consumer or prosumer cameras feeding into a pro system, so that adaptability is key.
Totally. It auto-adapts to SD and HD signals coming in and setting it up. Pretty straightforward, actually. Uses DIP switches on the side. No complex software needed initially.
Okay, simple setup. And I see it has a USB port, too, for future stuff.
Yeah, for firmware updates. So it's got a bit of future-proofing built in, which is always good to see.
Right. Okay, so that's the core conversion and processing. But you mentioned redundancy. Let's pivot to that. That sounds like the main event here for professional use.
It really is. This is where the HDMI 120 sort of earns its keep in critical workflows. Because like you said earlier, if you lose signal mid-broadcast or during a live event...
Disaster. You just can't have that.
Precisely. So the key differentiator here is the dual infrastructure. It has a redundant HDMI input and a redundant SDI output.
2 ins, 2 outs.
Exactly. The whole idea is instant failover. If your main HDMI cable gets kicked out or the source feeding it dies, the box is designed to switch to that second HDMI input automatically, seamlessly.
Okay, let's get specific. So the input side has 2 standard HDMI ports, version 1.3.
Correct. Port 1 is primary, port 2 is the backup, the redundancy channel.
And the output.
Same idea. 2 BNC connectors for SDI. Again, primary and redundant. And they support SD, HD, and crucially, 3G SDI.
3G SDI.
Yay.
That means it can handle the higher frame rates, like 1080p 60, reliably.
Yep, handles the bandwidth. So you've got 2 SDI cables coming out, carrying the same signal. If one path fails, the other's still live.
But wait, 2 HDMI cables in, 2 SDI cables out. Doesn't that add a lot of physical complexity? It kind of goes against the simplicity HDMI was supposed to bring.
It does add physical cables, yes. But it removes workflow risk. In environments where reliability trumps everything else, you double up on the physical layer. It's insurance.
Okay, that makes sense. Insurance against failure. And what about audio? Does it just pass through whatever's on the HDMI?
It does pass the standard embedded audio, yeah. Up to 8 channels, which is typical for SDI. But there's more flexibility here.
Oh.
It also has separate audio inputs on the box itself. You get an analog stereo input unbalanced, like RCA jacks, and also a digital AC BU pair.
Ah, interesting. So you can bring in audio from a completely different source.
Exactly. And the really useful part is you can mux that external audio embedded into the outgoing SDI signal along with the video.
Oh, I see. So you could take video from HDMI, but maybe commentary from a separate mixer via AES and send it all out combined over SDI?
Precisely. Or maybe background music or a dedicated mic feed. Gives you options without needing a separate audio embedder downstream.
That's actually really handy. And looking at the physical box again, one small thing, but probably huge for engineers. Lockable BNC connectors.
Oh yeah, definitely. No accidental disconnects during a live show. It's a small detail, but speaks to the pro focus.
Totally. And speaking of pro focus, the sources mention a 3-year warranty from Bluefish444.
They do, which again signals that this isn't consumer gear. It's built to last in demanding settings. HDTV Supply has it listed as in stock Currently priced at $595.
$595.
Yeah,
Okay. And apparently there's a 10% discount code available right now, 10% off. So maybe closer to $535.
good deal.
So let's tie this all together. What's the big picture takeaway? This isn't just a simple adapter box.
Not at all. When you factor in the processing, the flexible audio embedding, and especially that dual redundancy on both input and output, it's really a compact, robust hub. It's designed specifically for workflows where signal loss means major problems, live broadcast, events, maybe critical medical imaging feeds, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that redundancy makes the $595 price tag seem pretty reasonable when you think about the cost of failure in those scenarios. It's like workflow insurance in a box.
Absolutely. It's about minimizing risk, which leads to kind of an interesting thought for you to ponder.
Okay.
This box relies heavily on physical cable redundancy, right? 2 ins, 2 outs. But as we move towards more IP-based video workflows, video over Ethernet, software switching, how do you maintain that same level of instantaneous, bulletproof failover without needing all those duplicate physical cables? How does the next generation achieve this security?
That's a really good question. Something for us all to think about as the tech